United won, Ipswich won, and you know what? I'm not even too stressed, I'm not even too stressed, bro. I'm disappointed with the result. Um, Kind of disappointed with the performance, but not really, innit? It was one of them ones where I said that I wanted to see good football. I saw good football in parts. Do you know what I mean? But not as much as I would have wanted. I wanted to see a clear style of play. I saw it. Do you know what I'm saying? And all I could take from this game is the manager clearly doesn't know who his best players are. And he hasn't had them for long. Some of them he's only had for one game, like he said. Some of them he's only had for a week. And he did say that the lineups on paper were going to look similar to some of the lineups we've seen before, because he don't have that much time to get to know the players. And we saw it with the front three of the Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford. It wasn't good. It didn't work. Obviously, we scored the goal early. Very good goal as well. Ahmad started in the wing-back position today. And Ahmad's been playing in a 10 in training. We've seen the videos. Obviously, he's done the job for the team at wing-back. Great assist for Rashford. Rashford bagged, and other than that, he didn't really contribute anything to the game. Link-up play non-existent. Movement in behind not very good. And when he did have the ball, the quality, the weight of his passing, the trajectory of his pass, everything was off. His passing wasn't good, man. He didn't play well today. Same with Garnacho. Bruno was probably the best of the three of them, and he done all of his best work dropping into the midfield. And I said before Amarim came in, don't be surprised if you see Bruno in the 8, because Bruno doesn't suit the in between the lines number 10. He can't turn and receive the ball and drive with it. And he ended up finishing the game in the 8 with Ugarte, and he did well enough in there, bro. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him used in there more going forward, because I think that's his best position. Like, he's not a 10. Like, people talk about the GA and stuff that he gets, but he gets that from just tossing the ball into certain areas. And in this system, he weren't spamming as much. So today, I think was one of his best performances for us that I've seen. And even though he didn't really create nothing, and he didn't do nothing crazy, but I just thought it was a steady performance. Like, he just done the simple things, bro. And that's what you want from players. The system was very clear. The right-hand side with Mazraoui and Ahmad, it was sourcing, and Bruno in the first half. The other side, though, Johnny Evans at left centre-back, he was awful today, innit? Obviously, I know that Johnny Evans is a bit part player and he's old and all these other things, but, bruv, I can't lie. This system looked like it aged him like 10 years, innit? Johnny Evans, Garnacho, oh my. Johnny Evans and Garnacho down that side, yeah, and Dallo. Dallo played well in the first half. I thought Dallo on the whole had a decent game. He played a great reverse pass through to Garnacho. But that triangle was stinking, bro. And when you look at the team, you kind of have to look at the different triangles on the pitch. And technically, in the triangles, there was just a lot that wasn't really doing what it was supposed to do. We were defending in a weird shape. Like, we were defending with, obviously, the 5 at the back. We had the double pivot, and then we had the first line of 3. But obviously, because the manager hasn't had time to teach them how to press, the first line of 3 was getting bypassed very easily. And it was leaving Cass and Eriksson exposed, which meant that our back 5 was having to do a lot more defending than really they should have been doing. It wasn't compact enough, innit? But I thought we defended all right for the most part. Like, I wasn't too upset, because to me, I'm watching the game, I'm trying to understand the shape, and I'm just trying to get an idea of where the manager wants to go and what he's trying to do. And in parts, we saw some really good stuff. Like, we saw some good link-up play whenever Mazraoui or Ahmad specifically were on the ball. We saw some good stuff, but the one thing that carried over from the previous manager is how poor we are in possession. We're awful in possession. And the manager spoke about it. The new manager spoke about it. We need to be better in possession in order to push the other team further back, so that when we do lose the ball, we can press high and win it. When you've got a striker trio of Bruno, Rashford and Garnacho, you're not going to be able to keep the ball well. Because every time we went to attack, The ball goes into Garnacho, loses it. Ball goes into Rashford, loses it. Until we have players in the attacking part of the pitch that can keep the ball and allow the other team to get further up the pitch and push on, we're not going to be able to even press high. We're not going to be able to press high because we can't even sustain pressure in order to get our centre-backs to the halfway line. Second half, it was a bit better. We got our centre-backs closer to the halfway line. We started to get more possession. And then it was just the final moments, it just wasn't there, innit? But it's a technical issue with United. And also it's a personnel issue. I think that if we picked a better team from the start, I think we could have had more control. But the manager's getting to learn who the players are that he can trust, who he can't trust, who he likes, who he doesn't like, who he can use where. And we've got players coming back from injury. Do you know what I'm saying? We got Lenny Euro coming back, wasn't in the squad. We got Kobe coming back. Luke Shaw came off the bench in the second half. And to be fair, even though he looks rusty, he done better than Johnny Evans. Ugarte came on and he added something to the team. Obviously, he added more mobility. Cass and Eriksson started in a double pivot. We never expected to see that because we know Cass and Eriksson in a double pivot in a system where we're putting pressure on the ball doesn't really work. But the manager didn't really have a choice because Ugarte only trained once when he came back. There was just loads of things that we saw, but a lot of it was down to the shape and the personnel and the fact that the manager doesn't know his players. So I'm not really too worried about those things. I'm not too worried about it. Look at the goal that we scored, for instance, yeah? Straight off the training ground. Ball out to the wing-backs. Wing-back putting a cross in. Rashford getting across the front post and finishing it. I've been screaming for ages. We need to score some goals from pullbacks and from crosses because these are the things you can rehearse. And then we saw that. And even though we only saw it once, yeah, the manager's had a lot of these players only one time in training. So there's a lot of stuff he can't teach them because he hasn't had the time. So I think it's crazy to look at the game, yeah. When you saw the game, you saw an Ipswich team that were very, very well coached. They know who they are. They know what they are. McKenna knows who his best players are. Knows what their best positions are. He knows how to get the best out. He knows all of these things. And Amorim doesn't know any of these things about Manchester United. So when you looked at the two teams, you could very clearly see it was one team that was very well structured, well coached, well prepared. And the other team that was just out there trying to figure it out. That's exactly what it is. And in the end, we got lucky, innit? We got lucky that we didn't lose. But at the same time, I saw a lot of positives in how the manager wants to play, what he wants to do. Like even the substitutions, I thought all of his substitutions were spot on. I didn't see Casemiro coming off before Eriksson, but then the fact that he took Eriksson off and dropped Bruno into the 8, that looked good. Bruno and Ugarte looked good in there. Do you know what I'm saying? Luke Shaw coming on at left centre-back for Evans was the right change because Evans was poor. Garnacho came off too late, in my opinion. But because we had to take off Eriksson and Cass, and obviously Kobe Mino's not fit yet, it just meant that we had to, you know what I mean? We had to push certain substitutions further along. I would have rather Mason Mount came on for Garnacho earlier, who was awful today. He was by far our worst player today. Again. Do you know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, people were getting onto onto Faz for the situation. And look, back on his usual bullshit. Do you know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying. Man went away for the national team, got cooked by all the fans of the national team. No one wants to apologise to Faz. This brother's not good enough. He's not good enough, bro. And even in this formation, he's not a 10. And he got used in the 10. He was given a chance, bro. And this is the first performance under the new manager. And he picked up where he left off, bro. Typical Garnacho performance. Absolute shite. This is the reality. I like the fact that the manager took off Rashford, even though he scored. And I like the fact that he put on Højlund and Xerxes. He put on both of them. Because it showed that he was going for it. Do you know what I mean? We saw Xerxes get used in the 10. And we saw Højlund get used in the 9. And yeah, we just need to wait and see long term who he sees where in it. because it looks like this manager's going to use players in multiple positions. He said he's got 2 positions for Mason Mount. One of them's probably the 10 position. The other one, is it in the midfield where Bruno is? Is it in the wing-back area? We don't know, innit? Like, this manager's going to be trying to see who fits where, and I'm definitely giving him the time because he's shown me that he believes in what he's doing. I've already seen what he does work at his previous club. I know that this guy knows what he's doing. He just doesn't know these players, and we have to give him time to get to know these players the way we know these players, because it's easy for us to look at the team and say, Ahmad wingback, Garnacho in the 10, why is he doing that? But bro, he don't know the players as well as we know the players. We've watched these players for years. This guy hasn't. So he has to do the trial and error thing. He has to see who he trusts, who can do what he asks. And also, Ahmad is he's so sensible. He's got such a high IQ that he played that wing-back position perfectly well. He receives the ball well. He makes the right decisions under pressure and all these things. Like, he can trust Ahmad. It looks like he knows that he can trust Ahmad. Some of these players are not trustworthy, innit? They're there to do a job every now and then, but you can't trust on these lot for consistency. So he's getting loads of time from me, bro, because I know that he knows what he's doing. And even his substitution showed me that, you know what, even though the starting 11 wasn't really doing it for me, he showed me that he saw the areas at which things weren't quite going the way they should be, because he made the changes all appropriately. The Garnacho change was the only one that came too late. He should have gone off before Rashford, or when Rashford went off. He should have never lasted 85 minutes. No way, innit? So, I can't lie. A lot of people are catastrophizing at the moment. I didn't think the football was that bad. I thought that Ipswich played well. They played really well on the ball. And we didn't really try and press higher up, probably because he hasn't worked on that too much. So we just tried to keep our shape defensively, like in the mid-block, and try and make it difficult for them. And in large parts, we did do that, innit? But this is not how we're going to play long-term under this manager. This is just how he's going to be feeling his way through the game. So, I don't know, just a lot of people talking rubbish, thinking that we were just going to come out champagne football from the off. And, you know what I mean? We're just going to blitz teams, bro. It's a process. As much as I would have loved to just smoke these lot, yeah, it would have been amazing. But I'm aware that it's going to take some time because we're playing a completely different system. Ruud van Nistelrooy came in from Ten Hag and just played the same football Ten Hag played and the same players he played, and just dropped the defensive line 10 yards. But he done everything the same. He just let the players do what they want. This is an actual coach that is going to coach these guys, which means it's going to take time to reprogram these guys. And in the meantime, results are going to fluctuate. And this is why I said I'm not giving him a league position, any pressure for a league position, because I know there's going to be games that we should win that we don't. There's going to be games people think we're going to lose and we're going to win. It's going to be like this. But if I can see a style of play, if I can see us consistently improving week by week, do you know what I'm saying? And get me a Europa League, get me a trophy, I'm cool with that, bro. I'm cool with that, man. I trust this manager. I trust a lot of these players, not all of them. But nah, Ruben's going to get it right, bro. I'm confident of it.